So let's go through the application first. So we have got these many properties in application.properties file. So this is by default accepted by Spring Boot application. So ignore this. We will just deal with these 4 properties throughout this tutorial. Now let's see what we have got here. Is just a plain Spring Boot application. Let's go to Hello Controller, and here I have auto-wired environment. So environment is an interface, there has to be an implementation of that, and it is extending property resolver. Okay, now here I have created well, on default root mapping, like when I say root mapping, it's like this path. This is a port, and this path. So I'm talking about this path. Okay, so this is called root of the application, and we have been returning a string, a plain string here. So it's not a REST application, rest assured. It's just returning a string, no JSON. Okay, and here we can get the property from our properties file using getProperty method of environment, and I have concatenated that with last name. Okay, let's run this up. So it's up. Now I will run a curl command to see the output of this endpoint. Let me open my terminal, and here let me call curl command. -x is to specify the type of request, and we can specify the port like this. Okay, so you see it has returned Quake space computing. That's what we had got in our application.properties file, Quake computing. Similarly, you can get these properties as well, but the limitation here is that you have to provide the full name. Spring Boot also provides annotation value. You can use this annotation to specify which value you want to map to a property. So this is a Spring expression language. So you have to use SPEL here, and in value annotation you could specify the property name inside these curly braces, right? And let's run this. So it's the same. It's the same output that we are giving here. We are not changing the output. So let's straight away run it. So meanwhile it takes a little bit of time. I think I could show you the value annotation, which takes only one value, that is called value, and it's well mentioned in the documentation the way it accepts the value, right? So it's taking a Spring expression. Alright, so we're ready with this. So let's go to terminal and let's run a curl command. So it's quite computing, right? So earlier I just made a mistake. I didn't put -x. In this approach, we will create a POJO like this. So this POJO is basically having a one-to-one mapping with each of the property that we want to map from application properties file to this POJO. So we have to declare it as a configuration, right? And then there is a special annotation, that is configuration properties, which takes one value, that is the relative path in the properties file that you want the properties after to be mapped. So if you notice here we have com.cc, and after that first name and last name comes. So ignore these two for now. We will talk about those later. So in our app config, we have specified partil com.cc, and then we have specified end property name, which differs is like first name, last name, right? And we have to create getter setters for those, which I have created using Lombok. So this annotation comes from Lombok plugin, and this creates a getter setters and required constructors automatically for a class on which this annotation is provided. So it's out of scope. So if you want, I would provide a link in the video, and you could refer to Lombok. Okay. Now, because it's declared as configuration and I am able to map it to our application properties file, so now easily we could auto-wire this like this in our controller. So the output is same here, right? Nothing has changed. The only way of using it, well, getting a value has been changed. Earlier, we were like mapping the values directly using either add date value or add date environment. Now, because we have got a POJO with getters, so we could use getter to get the values like this. This is considered to be a more cleaner approach when you do the development than using value or environment. Let's run this. Meanwhile, it runs. I could get back to appconfig.java, and we could go to configuration properties annotation, and I will quickly download the shows, and yeah, here it goes. So it takes value, right? And default value is like empty, so any direct properties could be mapped here. Otherwise you could specify the value. Okay, this is up, so let's go here and this one. Okay, so we got the expected output. This approach is an extended version of the previous approach of mapping properties to a POJO. So we made two changes in our POJO. One is we declared another class, proprietary. Here we use data annotation so that getter, setters and required construction are there. And in this property, we just specified, well, we declared this as an instance in app config like this. Now, why I took the name proprietary is important, because we have this proprietary after com.cc, right? So we took the same name as that so that it can map with that name. Okay, and we made another change in our controller. Just extended the output to not just print the first name and last name, but also show the CC date and the registered name. And I have already run the application for you so that we could save some time on. I don't have something extra to show this time. So let's directly go to the terminal and let's run the call. So it prints the name. It says ACC on 2019 and register name is Square Computing. So here, declaring like inner classes like this, you could easily achieve the nested, well, you could easily map the nested properties as well. So one suggestion that you actually give a try to all the 3 to 4 approaches and do a hands-on by your own, because that makes you learn more. Just by going through this tutorial, you will just understand how things work. But once you do a hands-on, you would be confident about using those and you would be having more experience on how those should be used, right? So thank you.